Western Cape Police say any person who interferes with the investigation or the search for 6-year-old Joslin Smith will face the full might of the law. This as the girl's mother, Kelly Smith, her boyfriend, Jacquen Appollis, and 2 others appeared briefly in the Vredenburg Magistrate's Court. The 4 suspects collectively face charges of trafficking in persons with the purpose of exploitation and kidnapping. Billy Claasen, the executive director of the Rural and Farmworkers Development Organization, which is helping to search for Joslin, joins us now. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, Billy. Now, you've been actively involved, in the search for Joslin. How would you describe, the past couple of days, that saw an entire community searching for the little girl?
Good afternoon and good afternoon to your viewers. Let me make myself very clear in this whole thing. I'm totally disgusted by how certain political parties jump onto this case and handle it. I was in my hospital bed the day I received the news on the 19th of little Joslin they disappeared. And so I received it the 20th, the morning of the 20th. I immediately made contact with the police, the Provincial Commissioner's Office, as well as the cluster commander in Saldanha, and speaking to them about this case. I also made contact with Kelly, who was the mother of at that stage of little Joslin. So I made contact with her at that stage, and I spoke to her, and immediately I could sense something is wrong. So when I sent that information of her voice notes, I sent it through to the police commissioners so that they can go through it, because something was not right with it. And I really need to say that the police have done under extreme difficult conditions and influence from outside. And also pressure. They have done a sterling job up until now, and there was really too much influence from outside, and most of it was fake news or false information by certain people who want to use this issue of Joslin and trying to be relevant in this case.
All right,
Billy,
you've mentioned a number of things, and I'd like to touch on some of the things that you've mentioned. So just to, go back to some of the utterances that you are now making, are you talking about a voice note, I would imagine, or cell phone conversation that you had with Joslin's mother? Was this before 4 people were, questioned by police? Was this before the arrests were made?
It was the Wednesday, it was the Tuesday after the little girl went missing. So I was in a hospital bed because I just came from surgery. So I'm involved with this whole thing, and I'm supporting the father of the biological father of little Joslin, and also with his family. So she sent me voice notes. I spoke to her about certain things, and she sent me voice notes. And I could have sensed, because I work with these kind of things for 20 years, in 25 years in my communities. So I could sense there's something wrong with the tone of a voice. So I have sent this to the commissioner's office, and I told them, this lady are like in a defensive mode. Something is wrong there. Just go into it and investigate it. That was all, yes.
Now, of course, we know 4 people have been arrested, Kelly being one of those, something that a lot of people don't actually want to see, a biological mother or even a parent being involved in this type of case. Just talk to us about, from the culmination of that phone call that you had with her to this point, your thoughts in terms of how everything was handled by the police and what we're likely to see in court, of course, as a member of the public, your views? I was of the view since the Saturday after the incident. So I told the commissioner, I phoned him and I told him, someone needs to be arrested, even if it is only for negligence, because the child was in her care. She, as a mother, should have known of better. So she needs to give answers. She's the best one to give answers in the whereabouts of little Joslin and where she is. And I think she can still give us answers on that, so that we can just
close this case, or not close it, but just get Kelly, Joslin, and give it to a family, so that those other family can look after. And I really think they will love to do it. So I think that my thoughts was correct. I think CF, like, there is some influence from her side into this case, and I think she knows where her child is.
You mentioned that you're in close contact with, Joslin's biological father. We know, of course, two of Joslin's siblings are also in the care of other family members. Just talk to me about the state of the family now. How are they feeling?
The family is doing fine. The father also is doing fine. He's not someone who expresses himself. He can't even express his how he's feeling right now, because he has some underlying. I can talk about it. I have permission from the family. He's got underlying illnesses, and when we urge people, there is some people that went with him live on Facebook, and it is wrong. It is like in opening up and exposing to a court of public opinion, and this needs to stop, because he was involved in his children's life. He is for 3 months now in Amakuland, in Concordia, and now people want to say that he's not involved in his child's. He was not involved in his child's life. That is totally untrue. It is not. It is not the truth. So he is involved, or he was involved in his child's life, and he still wants to be involved in his child's life.
Billy, as we wrap our conversation, of course, we saw several government departments being involved and roped in terms of this matter, including the Department of Social Development. A lot of talk around some of the challenges that are being faced by the community, especially as it relates to substance abuse. Just paint a picture in terms of this part of the community. What are some of those struggles?
It is in the informal settlement of Middle Post in Saldanha. It's a very poor area, and also poverty is real, and that in particular opens up the community for influence from outside, and some people exploiting this poverty issues of our families or of our communities, and that needs to stop. Stop using the poverty issue and the heartache and pain of communities as a cheap political tool to run in the elections. This needs to stop. And also stop the thing of spreading fake news, because it creates hope, or it opens up hope in families. And so let us just go out and find little Joslin. That is the main thing that we need to do.